day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Quick Math Tutorials. Today, we are going to learn about the measures of position for the ungrouped data. If you haven't watched my video about illustrating measures of position, it is recommended that you watch it first so that you can relate well on this video. Check the description below for the link. There are two types of data to be analyzed. We have the ungrouped data and the grouped data. Ungrouped data are the raw data. It has been collected but not sorted into any group or classes. For example, you have collected the ages of 10 grade 10 Mulave students. So we have 16, 15, 16, 16, 17, and 17, 16, 15, 15, 14. So the data are just listed. However, for the grouped data, the data has been organized into groups from the raw data. Now for the grouped data, the data are now in the table form. To solve for the measures of position for the ungrouped data, these are the formulas to be used. First, we have the position of quartile. The formula is Q sub k is equal to k over 4 times n plus 1. Next, we have the position of decile. We have d sub k is equal to k over 10 times n plus 1. Lastly, we have the position of percentile. The formula is P sub k is equal to k over 100 times n plus 1. These formulas are easy to remember since they are just the same except in the denominator. For quartile, the denominator is 4. Decile, the denominator is 10. And for the percentile, the denominator is 100. Now, let's have our first example. The owner of a coffee shop recorded the number of customers who came into his cafe each hour in a day. The results were 14, 10, 12, 9, 17, 5, 8, 9, 14, 10, and 11. We will find the lower quartile, the median, and the upper quartile. For our solution, let's first compute for the lower quartile or our Q sub 1. So our first step is, we will arrange the data from lowest to highest or in ascending order. And let's identify our n. Our n is equal to 11 since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 data. So therefore, our n is equal to 11. Since our n is equal to 11, our k, this q sub 1, originally this is q sub k. So our k was replaced by 1. Therefore, our k is equal to 1. Now, using the formula for the position of the quartile, we have Q sub k is equal to k over 4 times n plus 1. Now, we will substitute the value of n and k. We have the position of Q sub 1 is equal to, our k is equal to 1 over copy 4 times our n is equal to 11 plus 1. 11 plus 1, which is equal to 12. And 12 times 1, we have 12. Copy over 4. And 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. Thus, Q sub 1 is in third position. So 3 here is not our final answer. It is just the position of our Q sub 1. Now, going back to our data, we have 5 up to 17. Since our q sub 1 is in third position, so we will count 1, 2, 3. Therefore, q sub 1 is equal to 9, and this will be our final answer. Next, we will find the value of q sub 2 or our median. So our n again is equal to 11 and k is equal to 2 since we have q sub 2. Using the formula, we will substitute the value of n and k. So we have the position of q, so our k becomes 2, which is equal to 2 over 4 times our n, which is equal to 11 plus 1. 11 plus 2 is equal to 12. 12 times 2, we have 24 over copy 4. And 24 divided by 4 is equal to 6. Again, 6 is not our final answer. Thus, q sub 2 is in 6th position. So this is just the position of our q sub 2. Again, going back to our data, since our q sub 2 is in 6th position, we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Therefore, our q sub 2 is equal to 10. For our upper quartile or q sub 3, our n is equal to 11 and our k is equal to 3. Using the formula, we will substitute the value of n and k. So we have the position of q sub 3 is equal to, so our k is 3 over 4 times our n is equal to 11 plus 1. 11 plus 1, we have 12. And 12 times 3, we have 36. And 36 divided by 4 is equal to 9. Thus, our q sub 3 is in 9th position. Looking back to the data, our q sub 3 is in 9th position, so we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Therefore, our q sub 3 is equal to 14. Now, for our next example, what if the answer in your position of your quartile has a decimal? If that's the case, we will do the interpolation. For example, we have 1, 3 up to 31, so this is already arranged. So we will find our q sub 1 and q sub 3. Our n is equal to 9 and our k is equal to 1. Using the formula for the quartile, we will substitute the value of n and k. So we have the position of q, so our k is equal to 1, is equal to 1 over 4, and our n is equal to 9, so we have 9 plus 1. 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. And 10 times 1 is also equal to 10 over 4. 10 divided by 4 is equal to 2.5. Thus, q sub 1 is in 2nd position. The position of our q sub 1 is equal to 2.5 or in the 2nd position. So we have here. But we have the decimal 0.5. So we will have our second step, the interpolation. So first, we will subtract the third data minus the second data. So we have 7 minus 3, which is equal to 4. Then the answer 4, we will multiply it to the decimal. So we have 4 times 0.5, which is equal to 2. And for our last step, we will add the second data, since this is the position, plus the answer in our interpolation. So our second data is 3 plus the answer in our interpolation is 2. So we have 3 plus 2, which is equal to 5. Therefore, our q sub 1 is equal to 5. Now, let's solve for our q sub 3. So our n is equal to 9 and our k is equal to 3. Using the formula for the position of quartile, we will substitute the value of n and k. So we have the position of q, our k becomes 3, so we have q sub 3, which is equal to 3 over 4 times our n is equal to 9 plus 1. 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. 10 times 3 is equal to 30. And 30 divided by 4 is equal to 7.5. Thus, the position of our q sub 3 is in 7th position. So going back to our data, the 7th data is 27. And since our answer here has a decimal 0.5, so we will do the interpolation. So for the interpolation, we will subtract the 8th data and the 7th data. So we have 30 minus 27 is equal to 3. And this answer 3, we will multiply this to the decimal, which is 0.5. So we have 3 times 0.5, which is equal to 1.5. And for our last step, we will add the 7th data and the interpolation. So our 7th data is 27 plus our answer in the interpolation is 1.5. So 27 plus 1.5 is equal to 28.5. Therefore, q sub 3 is equal to 28.5. Remember, interpolation is only applicable in quartile if the answer in the position has a decimal. Now let's have our third example. Find the third and eighth decile of the following test scores of a random sample of 10 students. We have 35, 42, 40, 28, 15, 23, 33, 20, 18, and 28. This time, we will solve for the decile. So for our solution, first, we will arrange the data in ascending order. And our n is equal to 10 since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 data. Now, let's first solve for d sub 3 or the third decile. So our n is equal to 10 and our k, so since d sub 3 is originally d sub k, so k becomes 3, therefore our k is equal to 3. Using the formula for the decile, so we will substitute the value of n and k. So we have the position of d, so our k becomes 3, is equal to 3 over 10 times our n is equal to 10, so 10 plus 1. 10 plus 1 is equal to 11. 11 times 3, which is equal to 33 over 10. 33 over 10 is equal to 3.3, or which is also equivalent to, we will round it off, so it will become 3. Thus, d sub 3 is in third position. Now, looking back to our data, since our d sub 3 is in third position, so we will count 1, 2, 3. Therefore, our d sub 3 is equal to 20. Now for our d sub 8, our n is equal to 10 and our k is equal to 8. So using the formula for the position of decile, let's substitute the value of n and k. So we have the position of d, so our k becomes 8, which is equal to 8 over 10, and our n is equal to 10, so we have 10 plus 1. 10 plus 1 is equal to 11. And 11 times 8, which is equal to 88. And 88 divided by 10, which is equal to 8.8. So we will round off, it will become 9. Thus, our d sub 8 is in 9th position. Now, looking back at our data, since our d sub 8 is in 9th position, so we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Therefore, our d sub 8 is equal to 40. For our example number 4, we will find the 30th percentile and 41st percentile of the following test scores of a random sample of 10 students. So we have 35, 42, 40, 28, 15, 23, 33, 20, 18, and 28. So this time, we will solve for the percentile. For our solution, first we will arrange the data in ascending order. And we will identify our n. So our n is equal to 10 since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's first compute for our p sub 30. So our n is equal to 10 and our k is equal to 30. Using the formula for the position of percentile, we will substitute the value of n and k. So we have the position of p, so our k becomes 30, which is equal to 30 over 100 times our n, which is equal to 10, so 10 plus 1. 10 plus 1, which is equal to 11. 11 times 30, which is equal to 330. And 330 divided by 100 is equal to 3.3. And we will round it off, it becomes 3. Thus, our p sub 30 is in 3rd position. So going back on our data, since our p sub 30 is in 3rd position, so we will count 1, 2, 3. Therefore, our p sub 30 is equal to 20. Last, we will solve for p sub 41. So our n is equal to 10. Our k is equal to 41. Using the formula for the position of percentile, we will substitute the value of n and k. So we have the position of p, so our k becomes 41, which is equal to 41 over 100 times. Our n is equal to 10, so 10 plus 1. And 10 plus 1 is equal to 11. 11 times 41 is equal to 451. And 451 divided by 100, which is equal to 4.51. And we will round it off, it becomes 5. Thus, p sub 41 is in 5th position. Now, looking back in our data, since our p sub 41 is in 5th position, so we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, P sub 41 is equal to 28. To sum it up, to solve for the measures of position for the ungrouped data, these are the formulas to be used. First, we have the position of quartile. The formula is Q sub k is equal to k over 4 times n plus 1. For the position of decile, we have d sub k is equal to k over 10 times n plus 1. Lastly, we have the position of percentile. The formula is p sub k is equal to k over 100 times n plus 1. Interpolation is only applicable if your answer in solving this formula for the quartile has decimal. However, in the decile and percentile, if your answer also has a decimal, you will just round it off. And these formulas are just the same except in the denominator. For the quartile or Q, your denominator is 4. For the decile or D, your denominator is 10. For the percentile or P, the denominator is 100. And that ends our quick math tutorials. If you like the video, please click on the like button. If you have questions, just leave a comment below. And to be notified on my next videos, please click on the subscribe button. Thank you. Bye!
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.